In terms of the Russia activities, I know Mueller has said that he didn't feel this reached as his terminology, the level of conspiracy beyond a shadow of a doubt. There is no such thing as a legal term around collusion. But I would say this, if he did validate the fact that the Russians intervened, they did it to hurt Clinton and help Trump. There were over 100 contacts. Those contacts included sharing of private polling data with Russian agents. It involved some parts that we still don't know the answer of WikiLeaks and a Trump confidant, Roger Stone, being some level of intermediary. I just got to tell you, if those kind of activities are not illegal, I think virtually every American would believe they were wrong, and every reasonable American would turn that over to law enforcement. If they were not illegal in 2016, at least going forward in 2020, because the Russians and others will be back, I think Congress ought to make sure that there is an affirmative obligation when a foreign power tries to intervene in an American election, that if you are receiving that kind of help, you have an affirmative duty to turn that over to law enforcement and let them investigate. The Trump folks didn't do that.
I know you've gone through carefully the 400-plus page report. Did you see anything specifically in there that potentially could lead to impeachment?
Listen, Wolf, I'm more focused on how we prevent this from happening going forward, to make sure going forward that we have a affirmative obligation that if a foreign agent or a foreign country tries to interfere in an election, you know about that, you have an obligation to turn that information over to law enforcement. I want to make sure we've got bipartisan legislation now that we do a better job of securing the integrity of our elections. And Mueller pointed out the Russians tried to attack all 50 states and, frankly, got into local election databases. And I think we were very, very lucky that they didn't make a changing of votes. We've got tangible things we can do to improve the security of our election system. And I also have been working on legislation because we also saw how the Russians manipulated Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, how we make sure that we have some guardrails around social media so that dark underbelly of social media where we see hate speech and dissension constantly taking place, that we don't allow foreign governments to use those tools to interfere in our elections. And I'll have legislation there. So I'm focused on how we make sure this doesn't happen again, whether it be Russia or any other foreign adversary. And I hope, again, that many of my Republican colleagues who on a lot of these issues have agreed will actually work with me to make sure this becomes the legislation.